So one trope I really like in storytelling in general is when you have a bunch of characters confined in one space, and added to that, the characters themselves don't know anything about one another, but we know as the audience a lot about the characters. So we know a lot of what they can do, what they're lying about, what they're truthful about, what they've experienced before, but all the characters in the location don't know anything about each other. Nobody knows that Asa has a war devil connected to her in some way. Nobody knows that Denji is Chainsaw Man. Now, people think that, what's the new character's name? I had to write it down because I couldn't remember. Haruka is Chainsaw Man, but we as the audience know that he is not Chainsaw Man. We know that Yoshida knows Denji, but nobody knows their connection to one another. So there's all of these pieces on the table that we, the audience, know all of the information about, but the characters in the story don't. And I love that setup because there's so many different unique interactions that can happen with that the possibilities are endless. And though this chapter didn't get into anything too terribly exciting, what it did is setting us up for the characters that we have in play right now and what they could potentially do when they start interacting with one another and what they could find out about each other. Now, the strange thing that's going on here is that we found out that the Famine Devil is here and she took Yoru away somewhere. And we still don't really know how that works or how that makes sense, because Asa is here by herself, having to figure this out by herself, and she knows that the Famine Devil told her that this will not end until you turn Denji into a weapon. And so she's trying to figure out a way to do that while also trying to feel useful within this group, which she is not. And where is Yoru? Where did she go? She does not appear in this chapter whatsoever. So is she locked away? She can't be like pulled out of Asa in some way because she needs her. Like, they need each other, and they've bonded in this way, both physically. And in this chapter, Asa is kind of contemplating to herself. She does a lot of thinking to herself in her monologue, as we all do. But she is expecting a reply from Yoru, and there's dead silence. And it kind of just goes to show how, as this part 2 of Chainsaw Man has been progressing and that we've seen Asa as the main character, she really has grown to rely on Yoru as much as she hated her to begin with, as much as they kind of butt heads. You know, and I've been saying this for the past couple of chapters, is that they're learning to work in unison a lot better than they did from the get-go, to the point where they are kind of relying on each other. Despite their, their goals might be different, they are trying to accomplish those goals by working together, and through working together, they've kind of formed this like symbiotic relationship. That's what I meant to say. Symbiotic relationship, I think. But Asa feels isolated and alone, as she always does, as she's always been the outcast in school, as she's always been kind of the weird girl, maybe lightly autistic. We don't really know, but it could go that way. And I don't say that as an insult. I mean, like, that's probably what the character is. And so once again, she's kind of outcast from everybody, and she tries to find this sense of superiority by, kind of pointing out Denji's faults, but the other group doesn't really seem to care as much as she does. And also the fact that she is caring so much might relate to further down the line in the story of them actually hooking up in some way. I still believe it's going to happen, goddammit. Denji does fall for every girl that tries to kill him, and I'm sure Asa will try to kill him at some point, but I think at some point this might be the one. But she tries to prove her value a lot, but things keep kind of pushing her to be the outcast, where they say they're going to try to cook the fish and eat it to survive. She doesn't want to. And that's probably because she's got some reservations about animals, because she, kind of killed Bucky. R.I.P., man. Best Chainsaw Man character of all time.
You're my boy, Blue! You're my boy.
And she pulls out a cell phone, which looks like a flip phone, so I forgot. Does Chainsaw Man take place in like 2004? I don't remember. But anyway, she tries to use that to get a signal to the outside to call for some help, and she winds up falling, tripping once again. The awkwardness, the clumsiness breaks the phone in half. And Haruka's like, yeah, you are like the most useless one of us all, man. Just, the man does not give a fuck. He just straight up told her, he's like, you're pretty much useless. So once again, we get that sort of outcast, loner sensation with Asa, and how she just feels useless and inferior, which has been her character from the get-go and is relatable. Chainsaw Man with Denji, you know, they also dealt with sort of like the outcast sort of type, or the weird awkwardness. Like, I think that Chainsaw Man deals with that awkward teenageness very, very well, and they did it well with Denji, and they're doing it exceptionally well with Asa also. Now, the other thing to talk about in this chapter is the supposed Eternity Devil. So this chapter very much mimics the Eternity Devil segment in part one, which thankfully is fresh in my mind because I did just watch the anime episodes, you know, a few weeks ago when they were on. So it's a little bit fresh in my mind. And we seem to have like a parallel of that time. But here's the thing. I have this wild theory, all right, that this is not the Eternity Devil. Because, one, I believe the Eternity Devil is dead. Although we did see the Bat Devil come back, so maybe. But I think that this has something more to do with the Famine Devil's ability and the fact that it parallels so specifically. Because if you think about it, we have this, like, Kabeni Part 2 crying his eyes out. And then we have Haruka here, who is representing Chainsaw Man. You know, perhaps kind of paralleling Chainsaw Man from the original. We have one with the eye patch. We have Yoshida, who's kind of like Aki. We have... and then I guess Asa would kind of represent power, although Asa and power don't really kind of have much parallel. But we have like the same kind of crew, the same group of people in a very similar situation. And it's paralleling that time, and it might be doing it for a specific reason. And the key to salvation here, according to the Famine Devil, is to turn Denji into a weapon, a la Kill Denji, which was pretty much the same as before. So I know the parallel could just be a nod to the previous part one of Chainsaw Man. I know it could just be the author having fun with it, but I feel like there's a little bit more of a story element to it. I feel like there's a specific reason why it's paralleled so similarly. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I'm going with for right now. I also love that there's a moment where Denji finds a bag of money and he just doesn't tell anybody. I don't know. That just... that made me laugh, man. There's always at least one thing in the chapters that always like actually gets a laugh out of me. I really LOL in real life. But other than that, I think this chapter really just sets us up with potential. It's got potential because we know things as the audience that the characters do not. We know that Denji is here, the actual Chainsaw Man. We know that Yoru wants Chainsaw Man dead. And to do that, she wants a weapon that's capable of doing it. So she's making Asa go to Denji to use him as a weapon, not knowing that he's Chainsaw Man. And then we have this character, Haruka here, the leader of the Devil Hunting Club, who has claimed that he is Chainsaw Man and has not said that to Denji yet, but he has said it to Asa, who knows. And then it's just like, you know, there's just so many like little different things that could happen here. So I think the setup is good. The potential is good. I don't know where it's going to go from here. We might be trapped in this aquarium one more chapter. We might be trapped here for like 5 more chapters. I really don't know. The unpredictability of this series is one of its greatest strengths, so we'll just see how it goes. So if you guys have read chapter 114 of Chainsaw Man, let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. Leave your thoughts, ideas, opinions. Do you think it's the Eternity Devil, or do you think this is something Famine is doing specifically? Let me know that in particular down in the comments below. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching this review. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below to help it in the algorithm. And if you want to, real quick, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I am trying to reach 100,000 subscribers and I'm very, 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 very close. And if you helped me on my goal, I would appreciate it. Also, if you want to support the channel on a deeper level, I do have a Patreon and merch store linked down below. Other than that, guys, I love you all. I'll talk to you next time.